The Colorado's been a bit of a sticking point for me. I haven't really loved too many of the generations. I just don't think they look that nice. The interiors are very boring and blah. Like it, I don't know. I just get a little annoyed with the truck segment. It seemed like Ford kind of had it completely under wraps. Dodge bowed out a long, long time ago, and then the Japanese manufacturers definitely just took over, and that really became their segment with the Tacoma and the Nissan Frontier, I think it is. I don't know, whatever they built. Again, it's that noteworthy. So the Colorado, the previous generation, I liked a lot of aspects of it. I really like the ZR2. I really like. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the new Colorado 2023, and it has officially been launched with three, I guess, more fun packages and 2 more plain Janes. Colorado's always been a bit of a sticking spot for me. To me, it's very on par with the Tacoma, now the Ranger, and a few of the mid-sized trucks. It's still a big truck. Every time I've driven them, I'm always a little shocked for being a small truck. It is still very, very large, but I digress. It's always been a great platform. I've tons of happy owners, tons of happy reviews. People do enjoy them, and they are nice to drive. Never got over the styling of the previous generation. It, to me, had Equinox headlights and just things that to me weren't pickup trucky. The GMC was a little better. It was basically a smaller version of the big truck. But the current generation Silverado, which I absolutely love, it is my absolute favorite truck on the market as far as look, styling, packages, trims, all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of in the middle of the road where I don't think everything needs to be 1,000 horsepower. There is a compromise on it all as long as you get that nice V8 rumble. Performance is far less important. We live in an era where every law everywhere and every Karen gets upset by anything that makes noise or moves quicker than the speed limit because you are endangering everybody and you're going to combust into flames. So, the new truck gets released. They release it with the ZR2 package. It looks pretty cool. They came out with a Trail Boss package. They didn't have that before, which I think might be my preferred trim. I'm not all about fancy LED lighting and all the trims and all that. I know I say that, but I drive a 2SS Camaro, which has it all, and I do enjoy it, but it isn't something I would ever say I need in my life. I do enjoy the privilege of having it, and I enjoy the fun changing of colors and doing different things. But to me, the car off with all the lights off is the personality and the aggression before you even start it and get the rest. So that's where the trucks kind of fall in place. The truck is coming with a 2.7 liter. GM and their wonderful marketing team. One of my biggest pet peeves in the whole automotive industry, despite brand, is when they take something that is somewhat generic and boring and use terms like super or plus. So they have a 2.7 liter turbo engine in the base model, makes 200 something horse, like 300 foot-pounds of torque, and then they have a turbo plus. Like what is a turbo plus? It's still a 2.7 liter. It still has the same transmission and stuff, but it's a turbo plus. When the German cars, this would have been early 2000s, started getting very performance oriented, and they were putting 500-600 horse into these Mercedes, BMWs, and Audi sedans. They had Sport Plus and then Sport Plus Plus, and I was like, how many pluses do you have to add to something before it's not the same? And maybe you should just use a different term like track mode or competition mode. Like use any other word than plus. And then when you start stacking pluses, it's plus 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 plus. So I have a Trail Boss Plus with a plus plus and a plus plus package with a plus plus trim in a plus plus world. Like just it's never ending, and for some reason the marketing team decides that this is the best route of action, which I completely disagree with. Interior looks nice, nothing to write home about. They've integrated the screen a little bit more and done a few things. One thing I will note with the new GM vehicles, I've spent a bit of time in the new Trailblazer and a few of them. I do not understand having a console shift. Period. End of story. I understood column shift on the old Chevys. It was up out of the way, and a lot of vehicles didn't have center consoles. They were coming with benches, so it made sense to put it there. But in an era where everything is digital, I do not understand the purpose of a console shift. In my Camaro, when I'm doing stuff and I got one hand on the wheel, one hand on the shifter, and you're doing your business, that's one thing. I'm in a performance-oriented mindset, low slung in this car, shifting through my gears, doing something with it. On a day-to-day basis, it's horrible. I want the space, I want the cup holders, I want a wireless charge pad that actually works. My car, it's in the back seat and never worked from day one. So thanks again for that, GM. I love when they include features that don't ever work properly. I'm hoping the Colorado doesn't, but I'm sure they will find a way to do something because it's GM and they really like to mess with people. Oh god, I get on these trains with ranting about horrible features. So, get rid of the console shift. I'm a big fan of the push button selectors in the new Equinox and the new Terrain. It really opens up the console. It gives you day-to-day life fun when you're never really going to put this vehicle into a manual mode. Even ZR2s, every single one I've seen of the previous generation of Colorado, they are in Mississauga, Oakville, Toronto. They aren't out and about. People that are out and about and live in the country regions of Ontario, they are running like LTs and then they put lift kits on them and they do all the stuff their own because they don't want to pay GM pricing for a lot of the accessories. So they buy a basic vehicle and upgrade it, or they buy full-size trucks. Like it's an interesting market they're kind of falling in, and they're kind of building like the coolest subdivision truck ever, but then they want to put things in it because they think it gives more of a masculine ambiance in the cabin. But as somebody who considers myself to be a masculine individual, it does nothing for me. I want to have great cup holders and storage and utilization of space. I don't want my shifter to fold down like the Ford does. I just put a nice push button. They did it in the the Yukons, the new Suburbans have it. What is wrong with this? Why is it so bad that in the trucks we have to have this gear selector in the way and all this space consumed? Not a huge fan of the Dodge rotating dial. That to me is just very bizarre. I've heard of lots of people having issues because from one trim to the next, the 4x4 and the gear selector switch spots, so people are accidentally driving around in four-wheel drive, like the list goes on. So there's a happy medium, and I think the push button is kind of it. I could see if you were in a really high-end trim and you wanted to like deco it and have the gear selector be in some sort of a artfully crafted masterpiece, like in a Rolls Royce or something fancy. Again, this is not the case. We are talking about a mid-size to small Chevy work play subdivision vehicle. We're not talking about Baja racing. Like none of that exists here. So I would prefer to keep it simpler and have more day-to-day convenience. Tailgate storage, they've integrated a storage pocket into the tailgate. This seems kind of obvious for a lot of reasons, but I guess Ford puts their step in the tailgate. GM has little corner bumpers. All of this is great, but they're all so high I can't use them. So I applaud their efforts. It's just kind of in vain. I still have to kind of jump, roll, throw, grab the side of the box. I'm just like heaving myself up and rolling. Then I get up and you do like the, I meant to do that. How am I getting down? I digress. They're trying to be ingenuitive, I guess. They had storage in the seats in the Silverados. Like they're just trying to smack features and stuff everywhere to say that they have this or they have that, and I'm sure somebody else will have something even cooler. I know the Ridgelines had some storage stuff in the base of the box, which was pretty neat. I mean, I do like the idea of where the GM one is. It would be a great spot to have ratchet straps and different like day-to-day things that could be out of the elements but aren't temperature or anything dependent. Again, cool, could be useful. I'd have to see it, touch it, see what fits in it. Obviously, if they're going to make it and it fits like this little orange dog toy ball thing, not really useful. But they will still sell it as a selling point because it's GM and they really don't want to do cool stuff. So I put the motors real quick. I mentioned that the plus, where, jeez, things they do just irritate me. So, why will Dodge put a Hellcat in everything? They will put it in dog houses, minivans. Like I bet you people that work for Dodge have them in their coffee tables. GM just doesn't. They have the platforms. They have the LT1, the LT4, the LT5. Oh, that would be a motor. They just don't. It's like they don't think there's a market for that. No different than Ford coming out with the Raptor in the newest gen, and they're coming out with this twin turbo V6, and holy smokes. And then Dodge comes out with the TRX, and it's like, well, if you're going to spend a lot of money and have the creme de la creme of off-road packages, that's how I would prefer to do it. So then Ford follows suit. They throw a V8 in, and it's got even more horsepower. And now those two are kind of off in their own little world. And again, not that the 2.7 liter is bad. It has 390 horsepower, I think, and 430 foot-pounds of torque. Like, I don't think you need more power, and I don't think it would necessarily make or break the truck. But to put like a twin-turbo V6 putting 450 horse out of the ATS-V, or putting the LT1, again, not that much more power. It's just the lifestyle, the ambiance. It's sitting at a light. It's got a bit of rumble. Like, there's so many little things that come out of doing the V8 that people would really, I guess, aspire to. Right? If you're looking at the ZR2 and you've got, say, one of each trim on the showroom floor, and you're like, what separates these trucks? And it's like they all have the same motor, give or take a tweak. They all have the same transmission, give or take a tweak. They all have the same ride height, body width, this, that, the other. The high-end trims have some flares on the fenders. The multi-spool suspension is absolutely insane. I could not say enough positive things about it. But a normal person would not know, understand, appreciate, or utilize it. So it's a good feature that's also somewhat irrelevant unless you're planning to do some serious off-roading. So when you're looking at the whole lineup together, you're going to be more prone to the lower-end trims because there's nothing so unique about the big boys that you're like, holy smokes. This is really why I need this in my life, which I've talked about with the Corvette. Corvette, for the longest time, had all the same motors as the Camaro. Well, when you walk into a dealership and you see an LT1 Corvette, sorry, a Corvette with an LT1 versus a Camaro with an LT1, they're both power convertibles, they both have leather, both have bows, they both have everything. One is 50 grand and one is 90. Unless you're a Corvette guy or you have super deep pockets, you're going to look at the Camaro and go, I can get all of this for that. That's what I'm buying. Same thing with the pickup trucks. But if you walked in and you see a base model C8 Stingray with a mid-engine and a few tweaks here and there, but just being a mid-engine with a unique engine and a unique sound and a unique ownership experience, you're looking at that at $90,000 going, wow, it's got different weight distribution and a lower center of gravity. Like, it is a different car. It's not a front engine, rear wheel drive, automatic or transmission power convertible. They're not the same on paper, so therefore the money is more justified. Same as pickup trucks. If you walked in and they said they've retuned the 305 Chevy V8, it's got 425 horsepower, so say 25 more than the base or whatever it works out to be, or I guess the next available 2.7 liter turbo plus. You're not looking at it as, oh my god, I get 20 more horsepower. You're looking at it as, wow, I get the rumble and the V8 sound, and I get all the fun stuff of owning a V8. You're just going to swing that way. And you can't tell me that GM does not have the ability to put some incredible fuel economy in them, because my Camaro's getting, what did I get last night? 6.2 liters per 100, doing 117 kilometers an hour. I filled my car up to 3/4 of a tank a week and a bit ago. It had 590 kilometers to empty. I am currently at 300 kilometers to empty. So, what's that? 290K off of the tank. And I've probably put 500 kilometers on it. Like, the fuel economy is there. It is available. Tuning, transmission, gear ratios, everything comes into play. Aerodynamic properties, cylinder deactivation, they all work very well, and they all give you the V8 lifestyle without the V8 headaches at the pump. Like, you can have the best of both worlds. So saying a fuel economy situation, like, there's always a way around it. Or you just pull a Dodge, like, you just don't care. I mean, the option is obviously yours. So that's it. There's a few of my preliminary thoughts on the new ZR2. As soon as I start hitting dealerships, I will do my very best to get out, make a review, give you guys a little bit of fun stuff. We'll see if we can't maybe take one, do some off-roading. I got to find a super friendly dealership, but you never know. I might just be able to do that. So that's it for now. Top Hat Plus between two fenders. Have a wonderful day.